In a previous episode, I outlined the legislative process as it related to how a bill is created, and developed, and voted, and signed into law. Everything I'm going to talk about here can be verified easily by reading any valid copy of the United States Constitution. Just Google it to twist a slogan. Now, on to our Constitution. Article 1. After the preamble, this is perhaps the most important part. This is where the foundation for the new government our forefathers were creating is laid. This is what everything is built upon. Article 1, Sections 1 through 6 define the legislature and its purpose, which means the two houses and what they do, why they do it, the House of Representatives and the Senate, and how they shall lawfully conduct the business of our country. I encourage you to read those 2 sections, or those 6 sections as well. In fact, I hope you would read the entire document. Well, now that the structure was defined, our forefathers addressed the need for revenue. They knew any nation would have certain predictable expenses, such as providing for the common defense, various infrastructures such as roads and post offices and other such provisions. Therefore, Article 1, Section 7 begins with these few words. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives. It goes on to say the Senate can agree or disagree with those bills, but they cannot write those bills. They cannot sponsor those bills. They cannot create those bills. Okay, that's what it means. That privilege is reserved to the House of Representatives. Again, I encourage you to check this out for yourself. Now, do you know why it's written this way? It's because at the time, as now, senators were mostly wealthy men of big influence, and therefore they inspired a healthy suspicion of big spending when our forefathers envisioned them in charge of our fledgling government's purse. Also, representatives were intended to be, and still are to this day for the most part, more in touch with the population, often living and working amongst their constituents. Plus, the House of Representatives has a much larger membership, so it more accurately reflects the will and needs of the people. I hope you're gaining a sense of just how smart our forefathers are to be able to plan in this intricate manner of systemic checks and balances. They made sure that the people spending our money would be a group of us, a group most like us. So, now that we have that understood, let's Google a very simple phrase. Senator introduces tax bill. As you know, they're not allowed to do that. But when I did it, Google returned over 398,000 hits. How can this be when senators are entirely and completely excluded from that power by the supreme law of the land? It is plainly obvious our government has grown largely and generally arrogant, feels entitled, and has decided they're on a tier above us, not among us. To be sure, there are undoubtedly some few politicians who still understand the basic principles our country was founded upon. Yet, how do we know who they are when they remain silent? There is a famous quotation that comes to mind. All that is required for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. Therefore, I urge you to do some light research and do something, not nothing. Make your voice heard. Arm yourself with facts and make your voice heard.